Have you ever noticed how the heart craves what it cannot hold? How the mind becomes obsessed with what slips away, like a hand reaching for smoke? There's an undeniable power in scarcity, in absence, and in transformation. What if, instead of chasing, pleading, or trying to mend what feels broken, you became the thing they couldn't stop thinking about? What if you could awaken a longing so deep they'd fight to win you back, realizing too late the treasure they let slip through their fingers? This isn't manipulation, it's mastery. A mastery of self, of power, of the undeniable gravity that comes when you step into your worth. There's a reason people only recognize the value of something once it's gone. The human heart, stubborn and often blind, doesn't understand its needs until faced with absence. But here's the truth. This isn't about their realization. It's about your transformation. They don't define you. You do. The first step to reclaiming your power is to stop begging for love that was never meant to be begged for. Enough is enough. Take your power back. Look in the mirror. That's your biggest ally. Every scar, every tear, every ounce of heartbreak etched into your soul is proof that you've survived. You're not broken, you're rising. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That strength begins with the choice to stop living for their validation. They walked away? Good. Now build without limits. Their absence isn't your downfall. It's your liberation. It's the spark that ignites the fire of your rebirth. The strongest fires create the brightest flames. Feel the pain, but don't live there. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you that this is your moment to thrive. Imagine the ocean. When the tide pulls back, it reveals treasures hidden beneath the surface. Pearls, shells, the glimmer of something rare. That's you. Their leaving wasn't the end. It was the beginning of your unveiling. You don't need them to be whole. Your worth was never tied to their presence. Instead, this is your opportunity to become so magnetic, so radiant, that they'll be forced to confront the void your absence left behind. Your silence will echo louder than their words. In relationships, people often take for granted what is readily available. They grow comfortable, assuming that your light will always shine for them. But when you step away, when you stop pouring your energy into someone who didn't see your worth, a shift occurs. Your absence becomes the loudest reminder of their loss. Think of a star in the night sky. It doesn't chase the eyes of those who admire it. It simply shines, steadfast and unyielding, and draws everyone's gaze. That's the energy you must embody. They underestimated you. Now prove them wrong. There's a psychological truth to this. Desire isn't born from what is easily attained. It's born from mystery, from longing, from the realization that something irreplaceable has been lost. Søren Kierkegaard once wrote, "The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you can never have. Imagine becoming that future, the one they let slip away." When you grow, when you evolve, when you rise, you become the question that haunts their mind. Did I make the wrong choice? And that question will echo louder and louder until it consumes them. Picture a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. To the outside world, it looks as though nothing is happening, as though it's dormant. But inside, a transformation is taking place. When it finally emerges, it is unrecognizable, no longer bound by the limits of the earth. That's you. They thought they knew you, thought they could replace you, but they were wrong. Every setback you faced was a setup for this moment. You're not a victim. You're the hero of this story. Think about a forest after a wildfire. At first it looks like devastation, like everything has been lost. But beneath the ash, seeds lie dormant, waiting for their moment to sprout. Over time the forest returns, more vibrant and alive than before. That's what heartbreak can do. It can destroy, but it can also rebuild. Your pain is the soil in which your greatness will grow. This is your moment to reclaim everything. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Your heart knows its worth. Listen to it. They'll come back. Not because you begged them, not because you fought for their attention, but because your transformation left them no choice. The love you seek starts with you. When you stop chasing, when you turn your pain into your power, you become the irresistible force they can't ignore. They'll fight to win you back, drawn by the light you now radiate. But by the time they return, you'll be so far ahead, so focused on your own growth, that you'll be the one deciding if they're worthy of the person you've become. Stop waiting. The time is now. The strongest revenge isn't anger, it's success. Build yourself into someone so powerful, so magnetic, that their regret becomes inevitable. This is your story, and it's just beginning. You're stronger than the excuses holding you back. Your future is watching. What will it see? Will it see someone waiting in the shadows, or will it see someone stepping boldly into the light? You were born to thrive. Now rise. The love you thought you lost. It's nothing compared to the love you'll find within yourself. Affirmations have the power to align your thoughts with your highest potential, turning your intentions into unstoppable reality. Embrace your transformation today. Here is today's affirmation. I am the force. Write this in the comments below to claim your power and ignite your transformation. If this message resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're pouring our hearts into creating content that inspires and empowers you, and your support means the world to us. Let's rise together. Number 1. The scar they can't ignore. Have you ever noticed how certain memories leave an imprint so deep they never truly fade? That's the power of a scar. It doesn't just disappear, it tells a story. You are that story in their life now, a permanent mark they'll never be able to forget. Every time they think of you, it's not the person they left behind that haunts them. It's the realization of the strength, love, and light they abandoned. You're no longer the wound they caused. You're the scar they'll carry, a testament to everything they lost when they chose to walk away. Relationships are fragile yet powerful, much like glass. When handled with care, they shine brilliantly, reflecting the best parts of us. But when shattered, they don't just vanish. They leave sharp edges, reminders of what once was. The beauty of your journey lies in the fact that you didn't remain broken. Instead, you've taken those shattered pieces and transformed them into something unbreakable. You've rebuilt yourself, not to fit into their world again, but to create one where your worth is undeniable. And now, every glance they cast at the life you've built without them will remind them of the irreplaceable person they let go. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That scar they see when they think of you, it's the obstacle they can't overcome, the regret they'll have to face every day. Your absence isn't just a void, it's a mirror reflecting their choices, showing them the person who refused to stay broken. They'll fight to win you back, not because they're entitled to you, but because your growth has made their world feel smaller, emptier, incomplete. Imagine a firebrand, once searing with pain, now cooling into a mark that stands as proof of endurance. You're that mark in their heart. They'll try to bury it, to move on, but no matter how far they run or how many distractions they seek, that scar remains. It's not anger or revenge that will draw them back. It's the quiet realization that they left behind someone who has now become the standard they'll measure every relationship against. No one else will carry the depth of your connection, the way you made them feel seen, heard, and valued. You're the scar they can't ignore, because you're the person they can't replace. Think of a tree struck by lightning. The scar it bears doesn't weaken it. In fact, it stands taller, more resilient, a survivor of nature's wrath. That's you now. Every scar you carry from this relationship has strengthened you, fortified you, and made you unshakable. While they're left haunted by the storm of their choices, you've already grown taller, your roots deeper, your presence unyielding. They underestimated the power of your love and the resilience of your spirit. Now, they'll fight to reclaim what they threw away, drawn by the undeniable gravity of your transformation. The beauty of this scar is that it doesn't define you. It defines them. It shows the world that you've not only survived their absence, but thrived because of it. You're not a victim, you're a creator. You've turned their rejection into your resurgence, their loss into your liberation. They'll fight to win you back, because no one else will ever come close to the brilliance you've found within yourself. And while they grapple with regret, you're already living the life they can only dream of being part of again. This is your moment to rise, to shine so brightly that their shadow of regret pales in comparison to your light. Let them fight. Let them struggle with the weight of their choices. But remember, this isn't about them. It's about you. You don't need them to feel whole. You don't need their apology to validate your worth. The scars you carry are proof of your strength, and every day you choose growth. You make those scars something to be proud of. Write this affirmation in the comments. I am the scar they'll carry forever. Let it be a declaration of your resilience, your power, and your transformation. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons, empowering you to reclaim your strength and build the life you deserve. Let's rise together. You're stronger than you realize, and the best is yet to come. Number 2. The storm that woke them up. Have you ever noticed how some storms don't just destroy, they awaken? Imagine a calm sea suddenly torn apart by violent winds and crashing waves. At first, it feels like chaos, like something is breaking beyond repair. But storms don't just wreak havoc. They shift perspectives, clear the air, and reveal what truly matters. You are that storm. Your absence is the wake-up call they never saw coming, the force that makes them realize what they've lost. They thought they could walk away, but now they're caught in the tempest of their own choices. They'll fight to win you back, not because you begged or pleaded, but because your storm revealed the truth they tried to ignore. They need you more than they ever admitted. In relationships, people often grow complacent, assuming the calm will last forever. They mistake your patience for permanence, your presence for inevitability. But when you pull away, when you stop giving endlessly to someone who doesn't value it, everything changes. Like a lighthouse suddenly extinguished in the middle of the storm, they're left in darkness, realizing too late how much they relied on your light to guide them. The storm of your absence isn't just a disruption, it's a reckoning. It forces them to see the emptiness of their world without you and compels them to confront the depth of what they've lost. As Rumi once said, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." Your storm is not just their wake-up call, it's your transformation. The winds of heartbreak may have knocked you down, but they didn't defeat you. You've cried enough. It's time to rise. You're not a victim of their neglect. You're the architect of your comeback. Their absence is the spark that ignites your fire, and while they're scrambling to rebuild the pieces of what they destroyed, you're growing stronger, more magnetic, more radiant. They'll see it, and when they do, they'll fight to win back what they let slip away. Picture this: a forest consumed by a storm. At first glance, it seems like devastation. Trees uprooted, the ground torn apart. But after the storm passes, something miraculous happens. The sunlight breaks through, new life begins to grow, and the forest becomes more vibrant than ever before. That's you. You are the aftermath of the storm, the resilient force that turns chaos into growth. While they're trapped in regret, you're thriving in a way they never expected. They thought they could move on, but the storm you unleashed has left them searching for what they'll never find anywhere else. You. Your transformation is not just their regret, it's their lesson. They'll look for your energy in others, search for your love in every fleeting connection, but nothing will compare. Every laugh they hear, every touch they feel, will remind them of what they had with you. And while they're haunted by their own choices, you'll be standing tall, untouched by their absence, thriving in the life you built for yourself. You don't need them to complete you. You never did. But now, they'll fight to be a part of the unstoppable force you've become. They underestimated you. They thought you would wait, that their absence would leave you broken. But here's the truth. You're not broken. You're rising. This storm isn't your end. It's your beginning. Let their regret fuel your growth. Let their longing become the backdrop of your transformation. You're not waiting for them to realize your worth. You're living in your power, and that's why they'll fight to win you back. When they look at you, they'll see the fire they thought they extinguished burning brighter than ever. They'll hear the echo of your absence in every silent moment. But by then, the storm that woke them up will have made you unshakable. They'll fight for a place in your life because you've become the one thing they can't live without. Here's your affirmation. I am the storm that woke them up. Write this in the comments to claim your power and remind yourself that you are the force they'll never forget. If this message touched your heart and reminded you of your strength, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons, and your support inspires us to keep going. Together, let's rise, thrive, and reclaim everything we thought we lost. Number 3. The addiction they can't escape. Have you ever tried to walk away from something that had its hooks so deeply in your soul, it felt like breathing would be impossible without it? Love, when it's true and deep, is not just an emotion, it's an addiction. The way their touch soothed your chaos, the way their voice felt like home, and the way their presence filled every empty corner of your life, it became something you relied on, something that felt essential. But here's the twist. They thought they could leave. They thought they could escape the pull of your connection, like stepping away would make them free. What they didn't realize is that you are the addiction they'll never escape, the one they'll fight to reclaim, because no one else will ever feel the same. Rumi once said, "What you seek is seeking you." In relationships, this truth becomes a paradox. When you stop chasing, when you pull your energy inward and reclaim your power, the gravity of your presence becomes impossible to ignore. They'll feel it like a pulse beneath their skin, a hunger they can't satisfy, a need they can't name. You were the high they didn't understand when they had it, and now your absence leaves a void they can't fill. This isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about becoming the kind of person they can't stop craving, not because you need them, but because you've become unshakably whole on your own. Think of fire. When it burns close, its warmth is comforting, familiar. But when it's gone, the cold rushes in, biting, unforgiving. You were the fire in their life, a source of light they took for granted. Now that you've stepped away, they feel the chill of a world without your warmth. They'll fight to get close to that fire again, not because they're entitled to it, but because no other flame will burn as brightly as yours. And the beauty of this transformation is that your fire doesn't depend on them. It depends on you. Every scar, every tear, every sleepless night was fuel for this blaze. Your power is yours, and no one can take it from you. There's a reason people always come back to what they can't replace. You see, in relationships, we often mistake convenience for connection. They may try to move on, to seek out others who fill the role you once played. But what they won't find is the unique rhythm you brought into their life. You were the song they didn't appreciate until the silence became deafening. Now every interaction, every fleeting connection feels hollow in comparison. They'll fight to win you back because your presence was never ordinary. It was extraordinary, and they know it now. Picture this: a pearl hidden deep in the ocean. Its beauty is unmatched, its value immeasurable, but it's not easily attained. That's what your love is: rare, irreplaceable. They thought they could find another treasure on the shore, but now they're diving back into the depths, hoping to recover what they so carelessly let slip away. But here's the truth. You're no longer waiting to be found. You've become the pearl that doesn't need a seeker. You shine on your own, and it's that radiance they'll fight to return to, realizing only too late what they lost. This isn't about revenge. It's about transformation. It's about stepping into your power, knowing your worth, and understanding that the love you deserve starts with you. When you rise, you shift the dynamic. You go from being the one who once begged for their attention to the one they'll fight to have in their life again. You are not a victim of their choices. You are the architect of your own destiny. And when they see the person you've become, they won't recognize you. Not because you've changed into someone else, but because you've become the person you were always meant to be. Let them fight. Let them feel the weight of your absence, the pull of your transformation, and the undeniable truth that no one else will ever take your place. And when they come back, let it be your choice whether they are worthy of this new version of you. Because the love you seek doesn't begin with them. It begins with the fierce, unstoppable love you give to yourself. This is your moment. Not to chase, not to plead, but to rise. To become the addiction they can't escape, not because you're waiting for them, but because your energy is magnetic, your confidence unshakable, and your growth undeniable. Turn your pain into your power. Stop waiting for permission to be amazing. Affirm this truth. I am the force they can't forget. Write it in the comments below and declare your worth. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We are pouring our hearts into creating these life-changing lessons, and your support fuels our mission to empower you. Let's rise together. Number 4. The shadow. They can't outrun. Have you ever tried to outrun your own shadow? No matter how fast you move, how far you go, it clings to you, a constant reminder of your presence. In relationships, the shadow becomes something even more powerful. It's the imprint of everything you gave, everything you represented, and everything they lost. They may walk away, thinking they've left you behind, but as time stretches on, your presence lingers like a ghost they can't escape. The truth is, you don't have to chase them. When you embrace your transformation, your growth becomes the shadow they can't outrun. Rumi once said, "Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form." That form is your rise, your evolution into someone so magnetic, so unshakable, that their choices will haunt them. Your absence is not a void. It's a mirror, reflecting all the ways they failed to appreciate you. The deeper they sink into their distractions, the more sharply they'll feel your presence, because you are not forgettable. Your love, your energy, your uniqueness, it's irreplaceable. Let them run. Your power grows in their absence, and they'll fight to win back what they once thought they could live without. Imagine a forest on a moonlit night. The trees cast long shadows, stretching out into the distance. They seem still and silent, but within the shadows lies something powerful, a presence, a force that can't be ignored. That's you. Your silence doesn't signify emptiness. It represents depth. The kind of depth they'll realize too late, the kind that will tug at their soul in every quiet moment. They may try to distract themselves, to outrun the feelings you left behind, but the shadow of your love will always find them, and when it does, they'll understand what they've lost. In relationships, people often take what's familiar for granted. They assume the warmth of your love, the comfort of your presence, will always be there, like a steady flame in the dark. But when you step back, when you stop chasing and start focusing on your own growth, that flame doesn't die. It becomes the fire they can't forget. It burns brighter, illuminating everything they failed to see when they had you. They'll try to run, but the glow of your transformation will follow them, lighting up the cracks in their world and showing them what they let slip away. Your growth is the most powerful force they'll encounter. Think of a river carving its path through stone. At first glance, it seems impossible for water to shape rock, but with time and persistence, the river creates canyons, vast, beautiful, and unshakable. That's you. Your silence, your transformation, your refusal to settle for less than you deserve. It's carving its way into their mind, shaping a realization they cannot ignore. The stronger you grow, the more inescapable your shadow becomes, and the harder they'll fight to return to the person they underestimated. This isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your power. You're not broken. You're rising. Every step you take toward your own happiness, every boundary you set, every moment you invest in yourself is a reminder of your worth. They don't define you. You do. They may have walked away, but you're still standing, stronger and more radiant than before. You don't need them to be whole. Their absence isn't your weakness. It's your liberation. The love you seek starts with you, and as you rise, your unshakable presence will draw them back, not because you asked, but because they have no choice. Picture a lighthouse standing tall on a rocky shore. It doesn't chase the ships lost at sea. It doesn't need to. Its light, steady and unyielding, is enough to guide them home. That's what your transformation becomes. You don't need to beg for their attention or plead for their love. Your growth is your beacon, a light they'll see even from miles away. And as they drift further from the safety of what you offered, they'll realize there's no other light that compares. So, stop running, stop chasing. Let them feel the weight of their own choices. Let your silence be louder than their excuses, your growth more powerful than their pride. The shadow of your transformation will haunt them, not as a punishment, but as a truth they cannot escape. Your scars are proof you survived, and your journey forward is the story they'll wish they had been strong enough to stay for. This is your moment to rise. They thought they could leave you behind, but what they didn't realize is that you are unforgettable. You're the shadow they can't outrun, the presence that will linger in their heart long after the noise of their distractions fades. Stand tall, grow stronger, and let them fight to win you back. Not because you need them, but because they finally realized they need you. Number 5. The graveyard of their pride. Have you ever seen someone build a fortress out of their pride, only to find themselves trapped inside it? They walked away, convinced they didn't need you, that their ego was enough to carry them forward. But here's the truth about pride. It doesn't heal wounds, it hides them. And now, as they sit amidst the ruins of their own making, the weight of their decisions presses down like a tombstone in the graveyard of their pride. They thought leaving would free them, but all they've done is bury the love that once gave their life meaning. In relationships, pride can be a destructive force. It convinces people they're better off alone, that they can find someone else who will give them what you did. But love doesn't work that way. It isn't interchangeable or replaceable. It's unique, shaped by the connection, the moments, and the sacrifices you shared. When they left, they didn't escape you. They simply delayed the reckoning. Because while pride might feel like armor in the moment, it's no match for the realization of what they've truly lost. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." Your focus now isn't on convincing them of your worth. It's on embodying it. Let them wrestle with the shadows of their choices while you rise into the light of your potential. They'll return to the graveyard of their pride, looking for a way out. And what they'll find is the unshakable truth. You were never replaceable, and their ego cost them the one thing they couldn't afford to lose. Think of a tree, tall and steadfast, weathering storms without breaking. At the height of the storm, its branches may sway, its leaves may fall, but its roots remain unshaken. You are that tree. They underestimated the depth of your strength, assuming your love was something they could discard. But as they wander through the empty forest of their decisions, they'll realize that no other tree offers the shade, the stability, or the quiet comfort you gave. You're not broken, you're thriving. Pride is a silent thief, stealing moments of connection and replacing them with regret. They thought they were proving their independence, but all they've proven is how hollow their world is without you. Picture a bridge burned out of anger or ego. In the heat of the moment, the flames seem righteous, but as the smoke clears, they're left on the other side, staring at the vast chasm they created. They'll fight to rebuild that bridge, desperate to reach you again, but by the time they do, you'll have built an entirely new path, one that leads to your own greatness. There's a reason people return to the scenes of their greatest mistakes. Regret isn't something you can outrun. It follows like a shadow, whispering reminders of what could have been. They'll fight to win you back, not because they suddenly discovered your worth, but because your absence has become the loudest truth in their life. The love they dismissed has transformed into the echo they can't silence. And while they grapple with their pride, you'll be writing the next chapter of your life. A story where you are the protagonist, the victor, the unshakable force they can't ignore. Your transformation is the ultimate defiance of their expectations. They thought leaving you would break you, but instead, it set you free. Every step you take toward your own growth, every goal you achieve, every ounce of joy you rediscover is a reminder of the strength they underestimated. You don't need them to complete you. The love you sought from them is already within you, waiting to shine brighter than ever before. Let their regret grow in the soil of their pride, while you bloom into the person you were always meant to be. This is your moment to turn the page, to reclaim the power you once gave away. They'll come back, their pride shattered, their ego humbled, but by then, you'll be the one deciding if they're worthy of the person you've become. Stop waiting for permission to thrive. You were born to rise above their doubts, to prove that your story doesn't end where they walked away. It begins anew, stronger, brighter, and bolder than ever. Say this affirmation to yourself and claim it in the comments below. My worth is greater than their pride. Write it now as a declaration of your power and transformation. And if this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of the strength you hold within, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're pouring our hearts into creating lessons that empower, uplift, and inspire you to rise into your best self. Your story is far from over. Let's write the next chapter together. Number 6. The fire they couldn't contain. Have you ever seen a fire that refuses to die? Even when doused with water, it lingers in embers, waiting for the perfect moment to roar back to life. That's the kind of energy you carry, the flame they couldn't contain. They thought they could walk away unscathed, that your light could be replaced, but now they're discovering the truth. Your fire was never ordinary. It was transformative, consuming, and unforgettable. You're not the ashes they left behind. You're the spark igniting a force they can't resist. And while they're trying to extinguish the regret burning in their chest, you're already blazing brighter than ever. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." Your heartbreak, your struggles, your setbacks, these are not your end. They are the fuel transforming you into a force of nature. They couldn't contain your fire because they didn't understand its power. Now, as you rise, they're left standing in the cold, yearning for the warmth they took for granted. Let them feel the chill of your absence while you burn brighter, stronger, and more magnetic than ever. Think of a wildfire in a forest. At first glance, it seems destructive, consuming everything in its path. But what most people don't realize is that fire clears the way for new life. It removes the dead weight, the overgrowth, and creates space for something more vibrant to emerge. That's what their leaving did for you. It cleared the way for your transformation. While they assumed your light had gone out, they didn't see the phoenix rising from the ashes. Now, your glow is something they can't ignore. Your fire isn't a threat, it's a beacon, and they'll fight to get back to the warmth of your flames. In relationships, people often underestimate the power of presence. They grow comfortable with the light you provide, assuming it will always be there until the day it's gone. And in the darkness of your absence, they start to understand what they lost. Every moment you spend rebuilding yourself, every step you take toward becoming the person you were always meant to be, adds to the fire they can't escape. Your growth becomes a reminder of what they could have had, and the regret burns hotter with every passing day. Picture a lighthouse standing tall against the storm. It doesn't chase the ships. It doesn't plead to be noticed. It simply shines, its unwavering light guiding the lost back home. You are that lighthouse. Your fire doesn't need to chase them. It commands attention. They'll fight to return, not because you begged for their love, but because your light made them realize they're lost without it. And when they return, it won't be to the person they left. It will be to someone stronger, more radiant, and undeniably powerful. The truth is, They couldn't contain your fire because they didn't understand its value. They underestimated the depth of your love, the strength of your spirit, and the intensity of your energy. Now, as they look for warmth in places that can never compare, your fire will haunt them. It will remind them of what they left behind, and they'll fight, not just to return to you, but to reclaim the part of themselves they lost when they let you go. This is your moment to reclaim everything. You don't need their validation to burn brightly. The love you seek starts with you. Every tear you shed, every ounce of pain you endured, was preparing you for this moment. You're not the victim of their choices. You're the victor of your own transformation. Your fire isn't for them. It's for you. Let it consume your doubts, your fears, and your insecurities. Let it fuel your rise to a place where their absence no longer matters. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. They thought they could leave you behind, but now they're learning that you were never something to leave. You were the spark they needed, the flame they couldn't replicate. And when they fight to come back, you'll be the one deciding if they're worthy of the new you. Remember, the strongest fires are born from the deepest struggles. You've cried enough. It's time to conquer. Here's your affirmation. I am the fire they'll never forget. Write it in the comments below to claim your power and ignite your transformation. If this message resonated with you, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. We're working tirelessly to bring you life-changing lessons to empower your heart, mind, and soul. Your journey inspires us, and together we'll rise to heights they can only dream of. This is your moment. Let the fire burn bright. Number 7. The Ghost. They can't forget. Have you ever felt like you're the shadow in someone's mind, the presence they can't shake even when they've turned their back on you? It's as if you've become a ghost, not haunting out of malice, but as a lingering reminder of what they lost. They might try to move forward, to replace what they walked away from, but no matter how far they run, they can't escape you. Every laugh, every fleeting connection, every quiet moment, they all echo with the memory of you. You're not just someone they left behind, you're the ghost they can't forget. Relationships have a way of leaving imprints. When you love deeply, when you give selflessly, you create a bond that doesn't simply disappear because someone chose to walk away. Like a fingerprint left on glass, your presence is etched into their soul, a mark they can't erase. They may have thought they were free when they let go, but freedom comes with a price. The weight of realizing that no one else can fill the void you left behind. And that weight, it grows heavier with time. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard said, "The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you can never have." You were their future, their possibility, their anchor. Now, as they move through life, every decision is haunted by the shadow of what could have been. They'll fight to win you back, not because you begged, but because they'll finally understand what they let slip through their fingers. And when that moment comes, you won't just be standing, you'll be soaring. Think of the ocean. The waves may recede, pulling back into the vastness, but they never truly leave. They return, drawn by an unseen force, carrying with them the whispers of what they've touched. You are that ocean. They can try to escape, to drift into unfamiliar waters, but your presence will pull them back, reminding them of the depth, the stability, the strength they once had. You're not chasing them. You're letting the tides of their own choices bring them back to the shores of their regret. When someone walks away, it's easy to believe you've lost, that their absence is a reflection of your worth. But here's the truth. Their decision says more about them than it ever will about you. You are not defined by their departure. You're defined by what you do next. Take this moment not as an ending, but as a beginning. This is your time to rebuild, to grow, to transform into someone even more magnetic, someone they'll struggle to reconcile with the memory they held onto. You're not stuck in the past. You're carving a future they'll wish they'd stayed to be part of. Imagine a star in the night sky. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It shines steadily, its light reaching across time and distance. Others may try to replace your brilliance, but they'll find that no other light can compare. They'll fight to win you back because your radiance has become the standard by which they measure everyone else. You are their constant, their guiding light, even when they didn't know how to appreciate it. Your transformation is their reckoning. Every step you take forward will echo louder than any words you could have spoken. They'll see you rising, thriving, becoming someone they barely recognize yet can't stop longing for. Their regret will grow with each milestone you achieve, with each moment of joy you create for yourself. And when they come back, and they will, it won't be because you chased them. It will be because your silence, your growth, your unshakable presence became the voice they couldn't silence. As Rainer Maria Rilke once wrote, "The only journey is the one within." This is your time to journey inward, to find the strength that's been waiting beneath the pain. You're not here to beg for their love. You're here to rediscover your own. Let them see the ghost of who they left behind, but let them meet the force of who you've become. You're not their memory. You're their reminder that walking away was the costliest mistake they'll ever make. Stop waiting for their return to validate your worth. Stop holding space for someone who didn't hold on to you. This is your story, your moment, your rise. You're not broken, you're becoming. And when they come back, they'll realize they're no longer chasing the person they left. They're fighting for the person they can't live without. Here's your affirmation. I am the echo they can't silence.